understand the emails thing because it was a different kind of production support than I'd been used to. So just took me a couple months to come up to speed, as they say, and how the teams interacted with each other and who was who. But been around IT all my working life, so it didn't take that long to get used to everybody.
Yeah, but it, that's right. Emails is usually pretty much standard everywhere. That everybody communicates by email, but different organizations have different styles. Some organizations have rely on face-to-face visits. For example, when I support Disney, but other companies like AT&T, Lucent, people spread out all over the place, rely on the emails and conference calls. Um, but as technology has evolved, there's been more online collaboration where sharing documents. um, so, but how you learn them is that usually you do get trained when you join a new group on the group's procedures, and that's the training. Yeah.
What lexis or language does each community utilize in order to function? So, like, is it all, like, very formal in communication, or is it kind of like a friendly, like, hey neighbor, or, as far as with that, like, when and how did you learn to understand and use this kind of language? Was it, like, you first, joined the job and they had to tell you, specific format for how to write things, or what?
Each organization usually has a established almost personality. IBM, you're formalized, structured. Everybody talks. It has a certain format for meeting minutes or reports. When you're working, gonna work for a smaller company, some management have informal writing style. Others we have a lot of people who are ex-military, so there's a certain style that's very short, concise communication styles that they were trained on during their military career. So you pretty much adapt to how your organization is comprised of.
Most of the email in my work group is technical in nature, so you have to understand database administration or system administration. And some of those emails, I don't actually write them, but I have to read them and understand them, and I understand them because I've worked in IT for a long time. But then there's other emails that I have to write to other work groups that support our group or that we work with in our group, and most of that is, I would call, business casual style. It's not formal, but it's not um,
Yeah.
it's more of at a personal level than a static structured type email and things like that and everything. But it's a way where you just, if I was talking to them face to face or sitting across the room, I could just tell them the same way. So I just type what I would say to them to their face.
Right. Yeah, I usually have interactions where the technical people are more informal writing style, but then I have to formalize it into management and translating the technical talk into business. Uh, uh,
Higher management.
yeah, into a higher management style. So summarizing at a higher management level. So.
Who are currently the novices and experts in each of your communities? How has this changed over time, and how may they continue to change? So who do you consider, like, the bottom of the totem pole, and who are considered, the people with the most experience? Just as, like, job titles.
Well, my job titles I have to deal with my help desk administrator and my systems administrator are sort of more junior people. Um, but again, I deal with higher management, so I have to deal with this chief operating officer, chief financial officer, other directors of departments, director of HR, director of contracts. So those are more on the higher level.
Pam?
Most of the people that I interact with are, I would consider peer level, which means at the same level, and then sometimes I have my manager who's a level above me, and then his manager, and then up to the VP, but I very rarely have to interact with the VP on a one-to-one basis. So probably just up to my manager level and to my director level would be the higher ups, but everyone else would be considered peer.
Okay.